folks, it's Jake here, and today we're talking about these ceramic rods that we can use to maintain our knives. So I've got a couple of different rods. I actually got 3 different rods to show you. And if you remember, I did a video, well, you might not remember if you've only been with my channel for a year or less, which is a long time. I did a video of the Lansky 4-rod box set. They've got a 2-rod box set, where you've got this little box, wooden box, and it's got 2 thin ceramic rods in it, or 4, and they sit in the box on an angle, and you sharpen using those. Those are a very viable option, which for even portable use, like to carry around with you, not in your pocket or anything, but in a bug-out bag or something, might be a good consideration. Today's video is more about if you want something, either a little bit longer and just 1 rod, or even something as super portable as this, where it's just a little rod that's inside a little case that you can carry around. So we'll talk about these things. Stick around for the sharpening ceramic rod talk coming at you right now. Ooh, I just about poked you guys right in the eye, didn't I? Sorry about that. So yeah, in this shot, you can see how my wall is very fake. First off, let's grab a knife. And one of the advantages of using a rod system like this is you can sharpen recurve knives easily enough. So that's what I'm going to use for my testing here. See, I can get it to tear paper, but I can't get it to cut paper. It is dull. So, nice dull knife. First off, let's look at this. I'll just introduce it. I'll introduce all the items to you. We've got this rod. This is a budget rod that I got on Amazon.com. So the Amazon that Americans can purchase at because it was nice and cheap. You got Chinese characters back here. Advanced technology, high quality. Ooh. And I can give you a link for this exact one, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And I bought this one. So let's pull the top off. It's nicely packaged in this nice tube. This is the Lansky. This is the Lansky 8-inch sharp stick knife sharpener, medium grit. And so it's gray with a medium grit, very good quality, super smooth, nice not hardwood, but nice wood handle. And that's what you get, along with a little bit of a set of instructions in there. Well, there's instructions back here as well on how to use it. There's instructions in here. And the third thing that we're going to look at is this. This is by Worksharp, and I forget the name of it. The prices for all of these, I'll put them across the screen, and down below the video, I'll have links for where you guys can buy them. And this is an interesting option because it is so portable, and it slides in. You've got a nice little button at the back to help get you started with getting it out. You push that button in and then you can pull it out. And so it's even got a pocket clip of sorts, or a clip onto some molly or whatever you have, so that you can carry it along with you. So now let's get this stuff out of the way. I forgot the other part. I forgot something. I'll be right back. I had it in my hand. Where did I leave it? Oh, Bandit, what are you barking about? Yeah, Bandit likes to bark at anything that moves or makes any sound. This is what I wanted to get you to show you. This is just anti-Skidcast. If you can buy these things at almost any dollar store, probably any of them. It's also marketed as liners for cutlery trays or drawers, hot pads. It's marketed as all kinds of stuff, but it's a soft kind of spongy material. And what it's good for is you put your item down, your stick down, and it's not going to slide around. Otherwise, if you're just on a table, it can slide around easily enough. and that holds it in place. So that's why I'm suggesting get one of those. Let's first talk about this one. We've got a nice plastic handle. It feels quite good. It's got a nice hole in it to hang on something. It's actually got a little plastic foot, but it's fairly hard. But the problem with it is it's not high quality. And I'll try to get you some close-up pictures. There's a very distinctive seam right down here. And it just happened to be that the first time I picked it up and I just set it down and I tried my sharpening, I was going right along that seam. Very rough. You could even hear it. Not very good at all. And then I turned it and moved to some other spots, and there's a bit of ceramic extra, a bump right there, an extra bit up right there. And then here's another seam, except for these are tiny little bit of holes. And holes are no problem at all. It just means that it's not sharpening. It's not meaning that it's getting in the way and causing a bit of a extra deterioration of the steel. So what you need to do is, if you get one of these, you're going to need to get some way of taking those bumps down. I suspect a sharpening stone, maybe a diamond stone, will help you get that off. I'll tell you how I got it clean, and maybe even give it on the video on how I got this clean. Okay, I was just testing a few ways of getting this smooth, the spots that have tiny little bumps on it. And the way I've chosen is to use my diamond stone. This is for my TS Prof sharpening system, which I really love, by the way. And yeah, they can be slow to ship and a little slow to respond to emails, maybe very slow at times, but their product is out of this world. But I also really like I really, really like that as well. And they've got new ones of those coming out very soon. But back to this, how to sharpen this, fix it up. This is a diamond stone. Don't use just sandpaper in your hand. There's too many variations you get with pressure points on your fingers. And since there's a seam right there, it's just easy enough. I just go and around the edge, and it takes that high spot down until it's as smooth as the rest. And when I did that one little spot that was a bit of just a bit of leftover ceramic that somehow got stuck on the outside, I did a little bit and the piece came off, and that's nice and smooth. And so now this rod is actually quite good, and I do recommend it. I really do recommend this if you've got a good way of making those high spots back low again. But that's all I'm going to show you of this one, because to demonstrate the how to use these, I'll use this one. But before I do the how, let's talk about the smallest one. The smallest one, it was on sale very recently. One of my viewers told me about the sale that was going on. So a really good price, so I ended up getting one of these. And, I like it enough at the sale price. Nice small unit. It's got a nice little rubber tip down here, so when you're out and about, you don't need one of these. You can go straight onto any hard surface, and you can go ahead and use it. Now, the problem with this is how short it is. Well, it's not a problem. The challenge with it is how short of a distance you have here. I think it's right around 4 inches. So this is only a 3.5 inch blade, and to do the whole thing, I've got to slide it down and back till I get to the tip before I get to the bottom. Otherwise, if I get to the bottom, I'll never sharpen the tip. When you sharpen one side, you can go 1, 2, if you want to, or you can just do a bunch on one side and then a bunch on the other side. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the challenge with this is its length. I really don't like the length of this. But if it's the only option you've got, maybe that's what you want. Now the box set, and I don't have my box set anymore, or I'd show it to you. I gave it to my my niece. That's who it was. It's got slightly longer ones. They're not as long as this, but slightly longer and very convenient to use. And yeah, it takes up, I don't know, 5 times as much space as this, maybe 5 or 6 times as much space as this. But then you also have 4 rods, you have 2 different grits, and you've got the angle set for you And if you watch that video, you just keep your blade straight up and down on those stones and you can do both sides. The challenge with these, and now I'm getting into the how-to, is getting the right angle of your knife. Now you can buy little angle guides, jigs, but they slide up on the end here, and so if you can imagine once there, you just butt it against that guide, and then you've got your angle set for moving your blade down. And that is a good option for somebody who has a tough time learning muscle memory and getting things just right. You might want to buy yourself a set of those. For those of you who've got pretty steady hands and you're very good at this, all you need to do is you can sort of feel the angle if it's a nice true angle on your edge. Just by rocking your blade back and forth really slowly, you can find when it's on that flat part of that final grind, and then you've got your angle. And what you do is you start at the handle part of the blade and you slide up until the tip while pulling back. So you're starting at the base and I'm pulling back and going down at the same time. So back and down at the same time. There's no need to go fast. Actually, going fast will probably get you to make mistakes, and going fast will cause you to go right over the tip each time. And if you go over the tip lots of times like that, you're going to start to round off your tip. So if you want a good tip on these, I would suggest that you sharpen until you're close to the tip, and then usually stop, or every other time stop before you go all the way across. And so make your all the way across the edge ones a little less frequent. The thing is, the chances are very low that your tip is going to be very dull, because you don't use your tip very much unless you're, okay guys, get your mind out of the gutter. You don't use the tip of your knife very often in normal use. Some people use the tip of their blade more often than others, but usually you're using, the center part and the close to the handle part of your blade the most. And so that's all it takes. You sharpen like this, and you can do it 5 strokes. I think that's 5. And then the other side, now chances are high that this angle is going to be harder for you to maintain. You're offside. And then again, 5. It's easier for me when I'm standing up, but I can't stand that long. And then once you're getting closer, you do to the end, maybe do 3, and then 3, and 2, and 1. And then, feel it with your fingers. Feel how sharp it feels. And if it feels fairly sharp, grab yourself a piece of paper and it's sharp now. It's not super sharp, but it's sharp. It couldn't cut the paper at all before. And now all I did was this on the video. I didn't do anything off video. Hopefully I can edit this without removing any of the cuts that I did. So what did I have? A total of 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, plus a few random strokes before. So let's even say if it's 30 strokes, I'm being generous. 30 strokes, and it cuts paper when it wouldn't cut paper before. So this is a nice, quick way to sharpen. It doesn't take an awful lot of time. It doesn't take an awful lot of effort. It's convenient. It's not expensive. But there's a few more things I need to tell you, at least one more. You can especially see it on this one. As I sharpen with it, it starts to turn gray. I don't know if you can see it. And that's because you have steel particles getting into the tiny little holes that are in here. And the way to clean that is very simple. You just go to your kitchen sink. You've got some soapy water. And especially if you have some like Scotch brake pads, Scotch scouring pads, that works really well. But even just a washcloth and a little bit of warm soapy water, and you can get most of that off. It'll still be lightly gray, but you can get most of the metal out of there just by washing it a bit, and you're good to go. Now this one already has that color, so you're going to have to just discipline yourself that maybe every 30 times that you've sharpened, it might be a whole lot more than that. It depends on the steel types that you use. There's so many variables on how long it takes before it starts getting a little bit clogged up with steel. But every once in a while, and you have to determine that yourself for your own circumstance, you can just wash it in the sink. So I'm going to give some links down below for Amazon where you can buy these. I get Amazon referral credit, so hopefully that will work. And I just got a notification. I've been giving Amazon for the United Kingdom links down below, and in the last 6 months, nobody has made a purchase from the UK. So if you're from the UK and you want to help Canadian Cutting Edge and you like these, go ahead and buy one. But I haven't checked yet if the UK has these on Amazon.com or not. But no, if you find it cheaper somewhere else, buy it somewhere else. I'm just saying, if you choose to buy it from Amazon, please use my links. So this is a little suggestion on different options that you can get. If you really need something really light and small to carry, maybe you're going on a backpack hike, maybe you're hiking the Appalachian Trail through the United States, from Canada all the way down to Florida. Maybe something like this is good enough in your pocket. Really what I would probably suggest in that case would be the Lansky Blade Medic. And I'll show you a picture of it right here. Mine's upstairs. That's probably a better choice than just this to carry with you, and it's a bit lighter. It has more options, but this is good. There's nothing wrong with this. It's a good price. Just know what you're getting and what you want out of it. So I was able to get this clean. So in that case, or smooth, I should say. So then it's, a reasonable use, not a problem at all with that. Or you can get this Lansky. This one's smaller, lighter, and yet it's totally adequate. It costs just a little bit more. I would recommend this one. And if you can find the Lansky ones at the different grits, you might want more of a grit. Now, just in final thought, no, you're not going to get a polished edge. And it might not even be a super pretty edge, but you can get a knife sharp using these Lansky rods. It's just another option, not just for the uber budget guy, the guy that's got a really limited budget. These are a good choice for just about everybody, depending on what you want to do. Good in your kitchen for a really quick touch-up. Now, my next video on this kind of subject will be about the difference between a ceramic rod and those steel rods that are used in kitchens, the ones that you see chefs use. Those are not for sharpening. The steel rods are not sharpening, even though so many places advertise them as sharpening sticks. They're for truing up the edge. Ceramic is for sharpening. And that next video, I don't know when it's going to come out. Might be months from now, might be weeks. I'll talk about the difference and how to use one of those. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. You guys are great. Remember, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye now.